Oh, yes, here we go. And a very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. I'm George Grant saying thank you for joining me for today's weekly edition of Sundays with George Grant. It is the 20th day of January 2019, and a beautiful morning it is. Just before coming to sit here in the chair this morning, I do this just about every morning. I like to take a look out. I'm blessed with a beautiful, beautiful view here of the Carnage and Grand Anse and Fort George. And it's always so refreshing to stand on the balcony there for just a couple of minutes, take a look out, take a deep breath, and say, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Folks, let's see here. Boy, you guys were itching and ready to go this morning. I see that Carla is already online saying good mornings to you and greetings, Geo Bear, and to all who have joined the broadcast. Well, Carla, a very good morning to you too. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope your buddy Sharon out there in Florida is listening. And I hope that the rest of you are all saddled up, because let me tell you, man, I am pumped up. Yeah, pumped up. I think that's the best way to put it about this morning's program. I've been promising you that I'd really like to get out of the studio a little bit more and get into the field and show you some of what's going on out there. But it's awfully difficult because we're talking a one-man show here, okay? So it's kind of hard to get at. But yesterday afternoon, I took my little camera here, one of the cameras, and decided, you know what? There are two things I really, really want to do today. One is fill my viewers, listeners, whatever you consider yourself to be, share with you some of the excitement in the run-up to the 50th annual Spice Isle Billfish Tournament, which gets underway here tomorrow. Now, obviously, the event has not yet started. But let me tell you, the hype around this thing down at the Grenada Yacht Club yesterday, it was just really awesome. I guess I got down there, I guess about 2 o'clock or so. Blazing hot sun yesterday, but a beautiful day. Just loads of sunny skies, as you're going to see. Thinking that, okay, the tournament's still a couple of days away, so there's not going to be much activity, but at least I could capture a lot of the boats that have come in for the tournament. Let me tell you, folks, you should have seen the buzz down there. A lot of yachts, a lot of boats, fishing boats, have, I hesitate to say just fishing boats, I call them yachts because for a lot of these people, these boats are like home. I mean, you see the layout on these things, man. It's like home. A lot of them came in towards the latter part of the week, Friday, and yesterday morning there were still boats coming in. And guess what? More coming today. More coming today. So I went around with my camera, taking pictures, and thought, wow, our viewers are really, really going to enjoy this morning. So yeah, you'll find out about that in just a wee bit. That's one of the things I did yesterday afternoon. And came home pretty tired, ran into all sorts of computer problems when we got here. But that didn't dampen my spirits, because in addition to being down at the yacht club, I'll tell you what else. If I mention the name Francis Urias Peters, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. If I mention the name Ann Peters, you'll say, oh yeah, that's Francis's wife. Well, these two folks run a little theatrical group, organization called LaBoucan. They used to be situated just down the street here on at the entrance to the villa, but they have now moved and they're situated down on Lagoon Road, not too far from Otway's gas station. I spent, I guess, about 3/4 of an hour chatting with Francis, Ann, and a few of the cast members. And I captured all of that. And I want you to listen carefully to what these folks are going to be saying this morning. Because they're trying, really a small little group. No, they ain't a small little group. But either it's small or it's little, right? Small group. Yes, they are getting some support from the business community, for which they are ever grateful. But pretty much nothing from government. And they're trying hard, and I thought, let's give these folks as much exposure and support as we can. So I'm going to run a segment this morning. I think it runs about 20 minutes or so. You'll see those conversations, and you'll see their premises, LaBoucan. You'll see exactly where they work, and actually sometimes they perform there. So anyhow, why am I letting the cat out of the bag? George, come on, let's get down to work here. Folks, so far, so good, and things have been really, really great thanks to the service we're getting from the folks down at Digicel. We're also on GRENADAbroadcast.com, I think. Hold it. We're going to be on YouTube later on this afternoon. And I see, hey, by the way, I see that a number of you folks are starting to subscribe to YouTube. So once we publish anything on YouTube, you'll be advised of that, okay? Now, let's get into the rundown. As always, we will begin with a reading from the Holy Scriptures. And then, yes, let me tell you, last night, I got another submission from Little Angel, and actually, I only received it this morning. Apparently, it came in last night, but I have something like 6 email addresses. Only one was working last night. So I was a little bit concerned when I didn't see anything from Little Angel, but I saw her contribution this morning. So you are going to be hearing from Little Angel this morning, okay? Then we get into the editorials. 2 for you. They are, as always, from the Grenada Advocate, which is captioned, Cricket and Coaching Controversy. Then we are going to hear from the New Today. Says a serious investigation is needed. So you're scratching your head saying, investigation about what now? Wait a few minutes, you're going to find out. Won't have to wait too long. Our interview this morning is captioned, Grenada to be represented at a world-famous art show. Yeah. You know, it's sad, but we have a lot of really talented artists in Grenada, but they don't often get recognized. They travel abroad, carry our name, give us a lot of exposure. And that's about to happen in the very near future. And as a result, I have a curator by the name of Susan Maines coming in here this morning. And these folks are about to take off for no less a place than Venice. Huh? And she's going to tell you all about that. Features this morning, and I say features, yeah, because we do have not one, not two, but 3 features lined up for you this morning. One feature is obviously about the Billfish tournament, which I told you about just a wee bit ago. The other feature is, as I told you a short while ago, that conversation I had with Francis and Anne and Cecil and Ronnie Marryshow yesterday down on Lagoon Road at LaBoucan. I'm still trying to pronounce that properly. But the third feature, oh, by the way, just let me identify the people who are in each of those features. The feature which is captioned, "So, what's up, LaBoucan?" Ann Peters, who is a tutor, she's also an actress. Francis Urias Peters, a playwright. Ronnie Marryshow, who is a musician. And Cecil Noel, who is a director of LaBoucan. Okay? All right. In the Billfish tournament, we're going to be talking with a gentleman who was actually in here with us one day this past week, Nicholas George. Nicholas works with Budget Marine. They're the lead sponsor for the Billfish tournament. Boy, their banners and buttons were all over the place yesterday. But the third feature this morning, folks, it may make some of you cry. I know you're going to chuckle as well. But it's sad to believe that what you're going to be hearing this morning actually goes on here. Yeah? I've been told that there's worse that goes on. But I have decided to caption this morning's segment, "The Epitome of Child Abuse." For those of you who were with us on Thursday night of this past week, you saw the feature, Make We Chat. Jerry and St. Vincent, Margaret in New York. I was here in Grenada. Catherine Edwards was out there in London, England. And we're joined by a lady whom Bev, I would imagine, recently ran across. And she had a story to tell, so Bev invited her to appear on the program. I have captioned the piece, "The Epitome of Child Abuse." Yeah, that's where we're going. That's where we're going. Sad story. But this lady was shooting from the heart, shooting from the hip. Absolutely, perfectly honest. Okay? And I wouldn't be at all surprised if the story brings a tear to the eyes of some of you watching out there. In fact, they may be some of you who have undergone the same treatment as a child. But thank God, you made it through, didn't you? Yeah. So the epitome of child abuse is going to come your way this morning after we talk with Susan Maines. Okay? So, make sure you watch that piece. The entire thing runs around 36 minutes, I think. But it's going to be worth your time. And as you watch it, stop and think, you know. If you are aware that that type of stuff is going on here in Grenada, would you speak out? Would you speak out? Is enough being done to prevent that from happening here? Ask yourself that question. What can you do to help prevent it? What should happen to the parents of the children who are subjected to that type of abuse? Key question. Key question. So, I'm going to stop there for the time being. But when you watch that segment a little later on, ask yourselves those questions. Okay? Friends? All right. Now, whoa. Boy, you guys are busy already this morning there on Facebook. Let me take a look and say good morning to you individually. I've already said good morning to Carla. Ryan Jabon says, good day, Gigi and friends. Pleasant morning. Yep, the balcony is your meditation. How did you know, fella? Yeah, man. I just love sitting on that balcony. You know, there's somebody else, and I see that she's actually online here. There's somebody else who really enjoys sitting on that balcony. I'm talking about a friend of mine who lives in that crazy place. I say crazy, but beautiful place. But it's you want to talk about living in the wilderness? Yeah, Penny. I'm talking about Penny on Facebook. Penny lives in a little village north of Montreal called Saint-Sauveur. She beats up on me every time I try to pronounce that because I never get it right. Well, Penny Saint-Sauveur. There you go. And she loves sitting there. Occasionally she visits and loves sitting on the balcony. And you know what? I've been living here for about 4 years. And that is the person, somebody from about 2,000 miles away, who actually taught me to appreciate sitting on that balcony. Not just sitting on the balcony, taught me to feed birds. You know, after she leaves, sends these emails or whatever. Did you feed the birds? Did you feed the birds? Yeah, well, sometimes, I think the birds are ticked off. They're ticked off with me. Yes, obviously, after her departure, I fed the birds for a period of time. And then, you know, your mind gets wrapped up in a lot of other things and you forget to feed the birds. So, occasionally, they still show up on the balcony. They sit there and they look at me like, any food? No? And they're gone. They get really ticked off when they're gone. Anyhow, so Anthea is also there this morning, saying top of the day to you folks. Jackie, hello, Jackie, is saying good morning. And Lori Bridgman, it's another day. Let us rejoice and be glad. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too, Lori Bridgman. Always so nice to see you show up. And Kipling Francis is trying to take over Margaret's job, telling everybody to share the live this morning. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Ernesto Jose is saying, good morning, Principal G and fellow students. It's Education Sunday, and I'm ready to take notes. Boy, I sure hope you have a lot of paper this morning. Ryan is saying, ha ha ha, Grenada parlance. I love it. I don't remember exactly what I was saying at the time, Ryan, but I'm glad you like Grenadian parlance. Sharon, hello, Sharon. Sharon is saying good morning. I imagine she's still out there basking in the Florida sunshine. She's saying good morning, Gigi and family, and sending her blessings to all of you. Bernard Gilbert saying good morning as well. And I told you Penny was there. Oh, Penny, 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 Penny is saying good morning from a blizzardy Saint-Sauveur, hunkered down with Fox and Mom. That's her daughter and her little son, Fox. Hello, Fox. Hello, Fox. Oh, boy, do I hope to call you guys a little later on today. Mecca Man Alexander saying, morning, George and listeners. Thanks for opening up the Learning Center around Grenada. You mean this one? Thank you, Mecca Man. Good to see you, buddy. Again, again, the majority of you people out there who are watching this are people I have never seen, never met. Okay? That's one. But I really do appreciate your presence. I do appreciate it when you show up. Okay? Now, having said that, I mentioned before on another program, if you ever see me on the street, come up, identify yourself and say, hey, I'm so, Mecca Man Alexander, whoever. And I'll go, hi, nice to meet you, son, right? Well, I think it was on Friday afternoon of last week. I stopped off in a restaurant downtown to get a bite, feed my face. And while I was eating, sitting alone at a table, having something to eat, a lady came up to me and said to me, hi, Mr. Grant, my name is so. I sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I couldn't believe it. You responded right away. And I said, okay. She told me her name. And I felt really good about that. It was nice to finally meet somebody out there whom I had not known. A few minutes later, as I was walking out of the restaurant, another lady came up to me and says, hey, George Grant, how are you, man? Hey, I'm fine. Nice to see you. Now, there are people I have met in the past, and true confession, please don't laugh at me, but this is true confession. I have a memory like a sieve. There are a lot of people I have met in the past, and not for the life of me can I remember their names. Sometimes I remember their faces, not always, as was the case in this situation. So she said, nice to see you, man. How are things going? And I struck up a conversation. And I guess she saw the puzzlement in my face. And then, and then she looked at me and she says, you don't know who you're talking to, do you? I said, true confession. No, I'm not. You mean you don't remember me, eh? Starting to feel real bad now. And then the woman says to me, she says, you come and sit down in my house and eat my food and you don't remember me? And I thought, oh my God. Apparently, years ago, remember when I used to take this program on the road? I was in Canada on one occasion, and I met this woman when I was doing the program in Toronto. Actually, I think we did that in a little town outside of Toronto. And then I remembered, yes, this lady and her husband were extremely hospitable to me. They treated me extremely well. But like I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't. I've told you before, I cannot lie to you. I forgot. I forgot. But, you know, when she said to me, you come in my house and eat my food and you don't remember me, I have to confess. I had to laugh. And then it dawned on me who this lady was. Well, ma'am, if you and your husband are listening this morning, I'm terribly sorry. I am terribly sorry. Please forgive me, okay? Not intentional, no disrespect, man. Okay. Kathleen Thomas has also joined us, and she's saying cold and snowy in Toronto. Boy, you know, somebody was telling me yesterday, I think they were expecting 2 feet of snow in Toronto this week. 2 feet this weekend? Yeah, we're expecting 2 feet of sunshine down here today. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay, folks, let me take our first little break. We'll come back with the buzz.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Speyside.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Okie doke, folks. It's now 28 minutes after 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and joined by a couple more people here. Glenn Andrew Mark is saying good morning to you all, and Lydia James is also wishing you a blessed Sunday. Folks. Let me see here now. What sort of mischief are we going to get into here next? Huh? Yeah, I think we're going to go directly to our opening scripture. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I'll tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain onto the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your Heavenly Father is perfect. That reading, folks, from Matthew 5, verses 38 to 48. All right, that's your opening scripture. Anthea out there in Decatur, Georgia says, "Don't boast, George, with your sunshine. Have compassion for us." Well, I'm as compassionate as I can be, but you know, I have to be honest. I have to be honest. I'm very thankful that I'm able to live on this little island, having lived in the northern climes where the temperature is sometimes, 30 below zero and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, I have told you in the past, once you get tired of it, hop on an airplane and head on down. We would be delighted to welcome you here. All sorts of flights available these days. It's really not hard to come to Grenada anymore. And by the way, as I speak to you, my first guest has arrived. Actually, my only in-house guest has arrived this morning, Susan Maines. We're going to be chatting in just a wee bit. However, also on Facebook, I see Glenn Andrew Mark saying good morning. It's snowy in Michigan. Yeah, well, tough. Sorry about that. Folks, let us get into our contribution this week from Little Angel. Little Angel today is going to talk about Bishop Clyde Harvey. Apparently she was moved by the piece that we played from Bishop Harvey on the program a few weeks ago, okay? Little Angel says, and I quote, "Bishop Clyde Harvey made some very interesting remarks during his contribution to SWGG on January 6, 2019. He began by admitting that human development is more than just being spiritual, and that efforts ought to be made to develop to the fullest every aspect of who we are as human beings, both as individuals and as a society. He spoke of being masters of our destiny, and is also of the belief that Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique can have a truly democratic society, which should allow every dream to rise to the surface. His recommendation was to acknowledge God and stand for the inalienable rights of every human being in the Grenadian society. Bishop Harvey's call for inalienable rights is significant. Inalienable rights are natural and are not dependent on the laws or customs of any culture or government. As a result, they are universal and cannot be replaced or restrained by human laws. There is a need for the Grenadian people to become more aware of what is an inalienable right. Example, freedom of speech, and how it should be exercised by the individual and collectively as a nation. Another keynote of the bishop's presentation was his reference to the common good, a phrase which needs to be understood, accepted, and considered more often by Grenadians. The common good, or the benefit or interest of all, is hardly a consideration in most of our interactions. Instead, selfishness and self-gratification dominate social life, while greed and lust for power are demonstrated more often. Bishop Harvey's request was for us to seek not for self, but collectively what is acceptable for the common good. His wish was for us to build a society of which all can be proud, admitting that it is not an easy task, but may be possible by encouraging debates and questions. For his wish to materialize, Grenadians must first understand the importance of engaging in open and honest dialogue of national interest, and do so without fear or favor. Then there was the subject of education. The bishop went on to admit that it was sad that people have become more interested in certification rather than education, and that they forgot how to take education seriously. He thinks that even though it is challenging, Grenada should have as priority schools that produced the finest human beings. In his opinion, Grenada is failing in basic education, stating that literacy and numeracy are fundamental to being educated. He said that teaching is the noblest of professions. It should be made attractive, and that society has an obligation to ensure that its teachers are always respected and honored. Grenadians will be foolish to ignore these words of wisdom. Bishop Clyde Harvey made reference to many more pertinent matters, such as the personal ego being an enemy, narcissism as a fundamental spiritual problem, political devices which undermine democracy and threaten social harmony, and the denial of rights. Finally, his prayer was for him to be able to serve the greater good, and this too should become a fervent prayer of all citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Grenadians should be grateful for Bishop Harvey's inspiration and insights, which are uncommon, yet absolutely necessary. Many thanks to Bishop Harvey. Grenada needs more individuals like him, and who have what it takes to enlighten and mold its people as one. There you have it, pilgrims. That's Little Angel's contribution on this, the 20th of January. Fitzroy Adams just joined us on Facebook. It's cold in Brooklyn. You know, I haven't heard from Margaret yet in Brooklyn, but I imagine when she gets on, she's going to be screaming hell because it's cold up there as well. Wayne Peters is saying greetings and blessings, waiting to hear my sister and Sue. Oh, Wayne Peters, so you do know Sue. Okay. Susan, do you know Wayne Peters? Susan, come sit over here where I can see your face. Please, 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 please. We're going to chime in with Sue in just a wee bit. Let me just give you a sneak peek. Take a look at that. Oops. There's Sue. Okay. Yeah. We're going to get to her after the editorials. Okay, folks, I'll tell you what. Next editorial comes your way right now. And then we'll have the two next editorial. Next break comes your way right now. And then we'll have the two editorials, New Today and the Grenada Advocate. We'll get to Sue in just a wee bit. Hang in there.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And GRENADA is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while GRENADA can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENADA, energizing our GRENADA.
Alrighty, folks. Right now, we've been joined by Kalinago Noir Blacks. You made that name up. You made that name up. Kalinago Noir Blacks. Huh? He says, good morning, George. Enable a stream from TuneIn or GRENADA Broadcast. Please inform them. Thanks. Okay, thanks for the heads up, bro. Okay. Let's get into, actually, today we're going to turn things around a little bit. We're going to do the new today first, okay? The editorial which appeared in this past week's edition of the New Today is captioned, "A serious investigation is needed." The New Today is calling for an independent investigation to be launched into the operations of another state-owned body, the GRENADA Solid Waste Management Authority. The current rulers are fully aware of a report prepared by CARTAC, an arm of the Washington-based World Bank, on all statutory bodies in GRENADA, with recommendations on which should be sold or kept by government. The ruling New National Party government of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is yet to dispose itself of any of the state bodies singled out by CARTAC, such as the Marketing and National Importing Board, Gravelin Concrete, and the GRENADA Postal Corporation. In recent weeks, reports have surfaced about alleged wrongdoing by GSWMA, that's the Solid Waste Management folks, which should attract the attention of not only the newly installed Board of Directors headed by Dr. Bert Brathwaite, but also the line minister and the entire government. This newspaper is confident that the workers at Solid Waste have a lot to reveal to a properly constituted commission of inquiry about what appears to be bad management decisions resulting in the state body not getting value for money in the millions of dollars being spent on garbage disposal. The workers should also be questioned specifically about the credit card transactions for 2018. The evidence also points to very low staff morale as management continues to spend money with no regards for the established rules providing for good governance. It is quite clear that the Solid Waste Management Authority is mandated by law to account to the taxpayers of the country, because if it fails and loses money, then the very taxpayers will be called upon to help bail it out. A recent expose by the New Today newspaper points to violation of the rules in which bidding or tendering should come into play in the granting of contracts to service providers. An independent probe can easily determine whether GSWMA has placed advertisements in any of the local newspapers or with the Government Gazette with respect to tendering for service especially in garbage disposal. There are allegations that contracts are being granted on the basis of favoritism, especially to persons or companies set up by political activists of the ruling New National Party administration. Fingers are pointing at some former fingers are pointing at a former government minister in the St. Andrew area as one of the persons in control of a major garbage disposal contract, but using a private company owned by a known NNP political activist as a front. The same allegation is being made in the granting of a street cleaning contract in the St. Patrick area, with no regards to the tendering process. The ruling party has often been accused of using the state bodies as a cash cow for its political activists and a mechanism for providing jobs for the boys. There also appears to be widespread insider trading among staffers to lay their hands on the finances of the state body and to enrich themselves. It is alleged that certain persons are using their powers and authority to grant building contracts to their friends and cronies with no regards to the tendering process. The Solid Waste Authority is seemingly suffering from the same symptoms as other state bodies: lack of accountability and transparency in its operations. This newspaper is convinced that an independent team should be set up to probe into allegations about the misuse of the credit card of solid waste to conduct activities not sanctioned by the board of directors. There have been reports about the shredding of documents at the main office at Frequente and the burning of documents at the Perseverance landfill, amidst reports of some wrongdoing at the state body. Is the board of directors aware of the burning of documents at Perseverance in the past 2 weeks? Does the board know what documents were destroyed by fire? Did it sanction the burning of those documents? An independent team ought to be set up to do a complete and comprehensive audit of the financial affairs of GSWMA, that's the authority, and to determine whether documents are missing in order to do a cover-up of alleged wrongdoing. The New Today is convinced that it does not take a forensic accountant to do the investigation, especially the use of the credit card by the authority, as a paper trail can easily be provided by the commercial banks. The role of those companies appointed as auditors of solid waste and other statutory bodies should also come under the microscope where value for money is concerned. The M&IB situation should give a gentle reminder in which a lot of alleged wrongdoing was taking place under the nose of the auditor, who, coincidentally, had to recuse himself from the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission, since he is also a member of the body. Folks, that is the editorial which appeared in this past week's edition of the New Today. One more to go, the Grenada Advocate. Let's see here. Back to Facebook for just a wee bit. Margaret says, good morning, all. I was in quiet mode. It's raining in New York City. The deep freeze should be arriving later and continuing into tomorrow. Oh, my heart bleeds for you, Margaret. Calinago Noir Blacks. The video stream on Grenada Broadcast is working. Yeah, it is. Margaret says she just got another call from someone who listens on TuneIn, and she can't hear anything either. The audio stream on Grenada Broadcast is out. Yeah, Mags, we're having some difficulty with the audio this morning, but we're alive and kicking on Facebook this morning, as is evident by the number of you I'm seeing out there. And Warrell Wilson says, George, could you tell me why I'm not getting you on my computer? I just did, Warrell. That's why you're not getting us there. You are getting us on your computer, on Facebook, and this afternoon it's going to be on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Fitzroy Adams says, George, I'm tired of hearing the word investigation over and over again. At the end, we hear nothing concerning the results. For example, we're still waiting to know the result concerning the Panorama 2017. Fitzroy, I can't tell you how many times I've raised that issue, sir. And it's not just them. Same goes on with the police. You call them for information because you want to be accurate in your reporting. Matter is being investigated. Years later, nothing. Years. Laurie Bridgman says, that's not new. That's been going on a long time before I was born. The more we change, the more we remain the same. So says Laurie. All right, folks, quick little break here, and then we shall come back and wrap up our editorial segment this morning right after this. Okie doke, folks. Let me say good morning to people on Rumble Chat this morning. Kipling says, good morning. God's blessings to all. When will some of us stop repeating things we hear without knowing the whole story? Or what is the hidden agenda for the story? How about a little research before believing and repeating? Good advice. Kipling is being philosophical this morning. Thank you, sir. And Isaac O.P. Joseph is saying good morning and is wishing everyone a good week. Jackie's also saying hi. We Will Rise is saying good morning, George, and all cold and snowy day here. First real snowfall for the winter, and it is minus 18. Yikes. Good morning, Uncle George. Clyde Baker says, how are you? It's a snowy Sunday up here. Like I said, Grenada awaits. Clive Devers says, good morning all. We just returned from Grandad's 3-hour exercise and swim. Now packing, I imagine he meant packing. He's now packing to return to Toronto after lunch today. Oh, poor kid. My heart bleeds for you, Clive. 2 feet of snow. May God continue to bless George and his listeners and this beautiful island. I think that's it there. Okay, now, here we go. The editorial which appeared in this past week's edition of the Grenada Advocate is captioned, Cricket and Coaching Controversy. It seems almost inevitable that with the international cricketing year for the region about to commence in a few days with the visit of the English team, that some controversy would have had to raise its head in order for regional fans to have something to talk about. Let's face it, the regional side, latterly rechristened as the Windies, in a patently oxymoronic suggestion of its recent fortunes, could scarcely expect to destroy the current English team after the fashion of our sides in the past 2 decades of the 20th century. Here, there is no Marshall, no Holding, Ambrose, or Garner, no Dujon, and even though a few of our batsmen have displayed some degree of competence in recent times, they do not approach the consistent skill and ability of a Haynes, Greenwich, or Richards. Now bereft of these bragging rights and deeply humiliated by the crushing defeats by opposing teams in latter years, the public has sought to place the blame squarely on the Board of Management. Indeed, this has become a veritable cri de coeur to such an extent that last year, regional leaders sought an audience with the governing body of the global game, the International Cricket Council, in an attempt to displace the lawfully constituted board under some fanciful notion of the game being a national, regional, public good, of which, no doubt, there were custodians. As should have been apparent from the outset, given the ICC's history of anathema to the political control of cricket, the ICC spurned that request unless the president of the board was also present. On this occasion, the controversy is over the selection of a regional coach. In light of the hotly disputed ownership of the regional game among the public, the board, and as mentioned above, the regional political leadership, when combined with the paltry returns of the team, it is not at all surprising that this is a most precarious employment. For one, job security appears to be premised on the successes of the team, almost a guarantee that these days that the key performance indicators will evidence failure. We may contrast, in this context, the termination as West Indies coach, Mr. Otis Gibson, who has subsequently gone on to become the coach of the highly successful South African side, now poised to become the Global Games' second-ranked test team. Further, as witness the current scenario, the inherent jingoism of the ordinary West Indian cricket supporter, doubtless fueled by remembrance of the golden years of supremacy, abhors the notion of the foreign-born cricket coach. Never mind that this phenomenon is viewed elsewhere among far and more successful sides as a minor incidental to the game's critical mission. The question is frequently asked, why do we need someone from elsewhere to coach our team when the greats of the past era still walk among us? This query is well answered by Franklin Stevenson in another section of the press. For him, the current brouhaha over the nomination of Mr. Richard Pybus as the coach of the regional squad is but a microcosm of the problems facing West Indies cricket. According to him, that is one of our biggest letdowns, that players of the past have not been given or giving anything back. A lot of them talk about giving back by just sitting down and waiting to collect what is offered to them. What about building? He asks. We will clearly have to decide what we want, both in and from a coach of the regional team. Okay, now that's the editorial from the Advocate, and that's going to take care of our editorials this week. Now, back to Facebook. Margaret says, well, Intercall 2019 canceled. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Did not know that. Okay. Margaret, you snoop. You found out before we did it. I don't think it came as a surprise to anybody. Anyhow, folks. Okay. She's going to be joining us next. I'm talking about Susan Maines, and we're going to be talking about the arts in Grenada about to be represented in Venice, of all places, and probably one of the world's most famous art shows, art exhibitions. After this break...
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability,
Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Alrighty, folks, it's 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, and time now to say good morning to Susan Maines.
Good morning, George.
Let's get your mic on here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for we haven't seen each other in a long.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's because you've been working so hard.
I know.
And I've been working so hard. So.
And I imagine you're working extremely hard right now because you're getting ready for this very big show.
That's right. That's right.
Before we start talking about that show, let's talk a little bit about the arts in Grenada. Do we have a lot of artists, local artists?
You know, you would be so surprised. We're having artists pop out of places that we could have never even imagined. Young people, young men who are taking up brush and paint and thinking about that, making that an entrepreneurial part of their lives. So yes, we have artists. We do.
It's just that they don't get the high profile that
absolutely right.
Jab does, for example.
Exactly. When you hear people talking about entrepreneurs, you never hear them talk about artists. But that's what artists are. They, create something, they put it out there on the market, people buy it, they take that money, they go to the grocery store, they pay their electric bill. Yes, we have lots of artists. What we don't have is institutions. And that's why we're missing the profile. We don't have institutions for art. We don't have a museum that features visual art as its main component. We don't have long-standing art schools. But we are so happy that in the last iteration of the Grenada Arts Festival, for the first time, visual art was included. So the artists from the secondary schools were able to participate.
You expect that we're going to be seeing a lot more of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the lack of institutions here. What would you recommend that we need to do to address that issue right now? Talk about the structure of an institution you would like to see here.
What we need is investment. I have been saying this for more than 20 years, is that the creativity of a people, the visual arts, is a natural resource. And just like any other natural resource, to be able to get the best that you can out of it, you have to invest into it. So we've had no real investment into visual art. So yeah, that's what we need.
Investment. It's a word that always makes me laugh because your segment of the arts is obviously having a tough time getting the appropriate investment. But I'll tell you something, Susan, come on, and you know it. A Jamaican artist come down here, a Buju Banton. Oh man, everybody wants to be a sponsor. People are throwing money at these guys left, right, and center.
Well, I have to refer back to the comments that you had earlier from a listener about what Bishop Harvey said. The responsibility of a community and of a nation is to develop all the segments of its population. All. You're going to have people who love Buju Banton. Nothing wrong with that. But there are other people who look at the visual arts as something that they really want to be a part of. That should have investment as well. That should have the same kind of attention. For some it's music, for some it's visual arts, for some it's, the crafts of woodwork and so on. Everybody should get attention.
It's ironic you're saying this because I mentioned on the program earlier on this morning, yesterday afternoon, I spent some time with Francis Urias Peters and Ann Peters.
Yes.
I'm going to show that segment a little later on this morning. And Ann was bemoaning the fact that, despite the fact that they're trying so hard to further the development of the arts in this country, they're not getting the support from government, for example. There are a few commercial houses out there, and you probably know about that too, few commercial houses that will actually spend a penny.
And thanks to the passion of individuals like Urias and Ann, and some of the other playwrights and play directors, we have theater in Grenada. Thanks to the passion of a few of the visual artists, art continues. But it's a burden that shouldn't be borne by just a few. We all benefit from it, and so all should be involved. It goes back to education.
Well, and then now you're putting it in the hands of education. If the people who are educated don't have that passion themselves, how are they going to impart it to the masses out there?
Exactly the point. Exactly the point. So it's an uphill battle, but one that we're willing to continue to wage because we see the benefit of it. And the benefit goes right back to individuals. Mm-hmm. To young people, to young men. We talk about how disenfranchised our young men are and how 50% of them are not working. You know, the arts can answer that problem. But like I said, there has to be some investment to make it happen.
You'd be you wouldn't be amazed, but there are a lot of youngsters out there. A lot of them have sat in the same chair you're sitting, and these kids are so creative,
yes,
so talented.
Yes.
They're just bubbling and ready to go, but yet frustrated.
Yes, I absolutely hear you. We're doing what we can.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can.
Let's talk about the part that you folks are doing to help further the arts.
Well, the Grenada Arts Council has been involved for many years. We had a little bit of a lull because our attention was on the international exposure for Grenada. We're talking about going to Venice, but this is not the first time. Grenada had a pavilion at the Venice Biennale in 2015, again in 2017, and we're going in 2019. It is the only island in the Caribbean, aside from Cuba, who has been there 3 consecutive times. Bahamas went once. Jamaica went once. And the artists in the other islands are shaking their head at us. They're saying, how is this happening? How is Grenada managing to take this huge leap to be seen at the Venice Biennale? So the Arts Council had been focused on that, and so some of the local activities had dwindled a bit. Now there is a new young executive who has lots of energy and lots of ideas, and they've been doing things like having pop-up shows at Spiceland Mall. There's a website, GrenadaArtsCouncil.com, where artists can find information and link to. So aside from lack of institutions, there are people who are pushing it forward. And I have to say, people who are volunteering. Nobody's getting paid. It's all for the love and the passion of art.
There are a lot of those in this country, volunteers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, one of my notes here says, ask her for the correct pronunciation. Biennale de Venice.
Okay, most people say Venice Biennale.
Slowly.
It took me a long time too. This is a learning process, because the first I ever went to was in the Dominican Republic, to the Caribbean Biennale, the Spanish.
Biennale.
And then I learned the Italian, which you must say it correctly if you're going to Italy, is Biennale. Biennale.
Yeah.
And to be completely proper, you don't even say Venice Biennale. You say Biennale di Venezia.
Venezia.
And you have to do this with your hand to make it really work. So yes.
Biennale di Venezia.
Biennale di Venezia.
It's easy for you to say.
Now. I've been practicing.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because I understand this is one of the oldest art shows.
It's one of the oldest in the world. This is the 58th edition. So every 2 years for 58 years, that means it's over 116 years old. It's where the countries of the world send their premier artists to showcase. In comparing it to sports, it's like the Olympics. You don't send beginners, you don't send somebody to try a thing. You send your experienced people who have shown themselves already to be up to that level.
And you say this happens every year?
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, there are youngsters out there who may be listening to us right now, and if for no other reason would like to be able to go to Biennale da Vinci.
The hand. Yes,
Excuse
it
me.
helps.
You know, and yes, they doodle.
Yeah.
But they're not sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
The
So
way
there's
forward.
a process. There's steps. First of all, you enjoy art. You need constructive criticism. You don't get it from your friends on Facebook. All your friends on Facebook are going to like you because they're your friend. Go to somebody who's more mature than you. Go to somebody who's been an artist for a while and ask for some constructive criticism. I myself am a self-taught artist. I was actually living in Dominica in the early 1980s. And I was just, you know, amateur painting. I'd always loved it when I was growing up in Grenada. I would go to the annual Arts Council show and see it. I would wander by Jim Rudin's Yellow Puy on a Saturday and look at the paintings. But I never really knew how to or what to. So I was living in Dominica and I started. And a Dominican artist, Glenford John, happened by the house. He was actually a young teenager at the time. He said, "You could do much better than this." Now, some people would have been offended and say, "What you mean I could do better?" But I said, "Tell me how. Show me how I can do better." And he did. And so then I started my own self-discovery of learning about art. Remember, that was before the internet. So I couldn't just click online and see the museums of the world like you can today. But I would read everything I could, and I would go and visit other artists and practice until he actually took one of my first paintings to an exhibition. I didn't go, I was too shy. And it sold for $100 EC. And he brought me the money, and my husband said, "What? Somebody paid $100 for that?" He's not laughing anymore because I've taken that start and made a career of it. So, young artists, you have to, there's steps to follow. You have to improve yourself. You have to show. Every opportunity, you have to show your work. You have to keep a list of that showing. You connect with other artists. You make a network of artists. You get involved with the Grenada Arts Council. You find ways for your work to be seen and for you to develop and grow. You find your own niche of 2 or 3 other artists who you are compatible with, and you start showing together so that you become a group. And every opportunity, you put yourself out there. So as you grow, year by year, your visibility improves. And then so when a curator is looking to do a show, they say, "Oh yes, I remember John Henry.
Right.
I know John Henry. He's from La Colombe, and he does these beautiful paintings where the eyes just stand out." I'm talking about a real person here, John Henry. And that's how, as a young person, you start to develop yourself into a professional artist.
But bottom line, I'm sitting here listening to you, and bottom line is that you need to have some sort of initiative.
Absolutely. You have to be a self-starter. Nobody is going to come and put it in your lap. You have to work and work and work and work. You know, people have come to me and they say, "I want to be your, what's the term they use? Apprentice." And I says, "Well, what do you see coming out of it? What do you want? Why do you want to be my apprentice?" "I want to be famous like you." But being an apprentice is not about famous. Being an apprentice is about learning. And it takes a lot of learning to grow. You have to be a self-starter.
You mentioned that, you know, somebody who might be interested should start by contacting the Arts Council.
Yes.
Okay. So you folks actually do provide some level of mentoring.
Yes.
I imagine your resources are
Yes.
limited.
Yes, absolutely. We have classes. We have classes through Art School Greens. You can find Art School Greens on the internet and on Facebook. Just like it sounds, Art School, Greenz, just like the young people said.
Greenz.
It's like the young people call Grenada. They call it Greens.
Oh, it's green. Oh, I always said Grens. I saw this on Facebook, but
Yes.
I always said Grens. It's Greens.
Greens, like
Excuse
Grenada.
me.
Yes. You gotta stay in touch with young people. That's how you keep current.
Mm-hmm.
My phone, I learned to use my phone from someone who is much younger than me. He came and poked it and said, "You do this and this and this," and I go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. You know, I have a sister who still has. She doesn't have a smartphone. She has one of those phones built. One of the small ones.
Yes.
You remember the old
the flip
mobile phones?
Yes.
Right. The flip was one, but before the flip,
before
you had
that, yes.
one was like a brick.
Yeah, the brick. Yes. Is that the one she has?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, good for her.
No. Not that bad.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is she has no interest in having one of these smartphones where we can sit and watch videos and WhatsApp and stuff.
Yeah.
No, as long as she can do toot, and Susan is at the other end.
That's great. That's
fine.
great. That's fine.
Let's talk about some of the folks who are going to be going off on this trip.
Okay, so we've been working on the planning for this for about 2 years because before one is over, you start planning for the next one.
Sure.
So about 18 months ago, we put out an open call. And a call is something that artists need to be aware of. It comes out a lot on social media now. A call is saying, we're doing this exhibit, we're looking for this kind of artist, this kind of art. Generally, there's a theme. So we put out a call, and our theme was from the Nobel laureate, Derek Walcott, from his works that he presented from his lecture when he accepted the Nobel Prize in Literature. And he called that epic memory. And he said, you know, in the Caribbean, we don't have thousands of years of buildings and things like that to give us some memories of what in the past. But what we have is nature. And so we asked the artists to reflect on memory and how those memories
with free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber.
Their art. So when we put out the call, we had 18 responses. It was an open worldwide call. So we had some responses from Brazil. We had some responses from India, from London, from UK, from Grenada, from the United States. Isn't that interesting that all these people are interested in art in Grenada from those places? It's a network of artists. So the curator, his name is Daniel Radini Tedeschi. He is an Italian curator. He is a professional curator. He went through all of those proposals and looked at the images and looked at the CVs of the artist, and he chose 4 because those 4, the theme, they went together to the theme, they went with each other, they fit his vision for what the pavilion could look like. So those people are Dave Lewis, who is of Grenadian descent. His father still lives in Birch Grove. He's 100 years old.
Whoa.
He just had his 100th birthday. That's his father.
Happy birthday.
Dave is a photographer, and he teaches at Goldsmiths University in London. And we had Amy Canestra, who is a professor at a university in the United States. She had spent a few months in Grenada last year as an artist in residence, and we can talk about what that means too. And then we have Siobhan Nichols, whose Nichols family is from St. David's and Grenville, and her work is going to be about the memories of her family home that burnt down. So the only memories that are left are the ones that in the minds of her family. So that's what her work is going to be centered on.
And where is she?
She is in Brooklyn. And then we have Billy Frank. Billy Frank is originally from Petite Martinique, born in Grenada. He is a filmmaker. He has a long career in filmmaking. He came to Grenada in December to do his videoing for the film that he's making. And he made contact with Urias Peters. And Urias Peters and Anne worked with him. They pulled in actors. The setting was at the Tower in St. Paul's, which has never before been in a film, but I think maybe we're going to make it famous. It is a beautiful film based on, loosely on it's autobiographical of Billy's own life. So we have artists. We have artists in Grenada doing the work. We have them activating actors. We have them activating some of the guys who are working in video and film here in Grenada, worked with them and they learned from them. Sam Ogilvy said it was the first time he had a chance to hold a red camera. I have no idea what that means. I don't know what a red camera is, but he was very excited. So the advantage of this activity is that it brings people to us who have expertise and who have knowledge and who have love for Grenada. And it enriches us. So people say, well, why didn't you just get somebody local? Well, we've had local people in the past as well. The last iteration in 2017, we had Milton Williams from River Road. We had Asher Maines from St. Paul's. We had Jason DeCaries Taylor, the underwater
park.
Right, the underwater sculpture park. The one before that in 2015, we had Maria McClafferty, the glassmaker. We had Oliver Benoit. We had myself with an installation. So it's a mix of people who are ready to show at that level.
Next question, you know, there are people listening here and trying to figure out, well, what benefits? What's the spin-off?
Yes, good
from
question.
doing this?
Excellent question. So in 2017, the pavilion was open from May through November. We had 60,000 visitors that came there who walked through, many of whom discovered Grenada for the first time. These are people who enjoy the arts, many of them Europeans, but many from all over the world who got a little glimpse of Grenada through our art. So for tourism, there is an impact. For the development of the arts, we have this network now where our artists have been invited to go to other biennales in Brazil, in art fairs in Colombia, in Basel in Switzerland. So there is a building of network activity that people are looking at Grenada as a place where art happens. And if you had a visitor to come to Grenada and it was somebody who's interested in art, it's a different kind of visitor than somebody who just comes and spends the whole vacation on the beach. It's somebody who wants to engage with our people, who finds us fascinating. It's the kind of visitors we want.
Boy, bring a few of those, please, 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 bring a few of those. It's unfortunate that a lot of people, you talk about investors, but a lot of the people who come here nowadays, they come here because they see the potential to make a lot of money out of
That's
Grenada.
right. They do.
Yeah.
And we can't get left behind.
We can't.
We have to be ready to step up and to have things for these visitors, this high-end visitors, to see and enjoy, and to not let our culture be swept away by foreign.
I can't believe this. I can't. You know, Sue, do me a favor. If you have some time this afternoon, I want you to watch this program because it's going to be up on my site. It's also going to be up on Facebook. You talk about losing our culture. Susan, yesterday afternoon, I sat down at LaBoucan.
Yes.
With Ann Peters talking
Yes.
about the exact same thing.
When a hotel comes in and invests millions of dollars, and there is not one piece of Grenada's art in that hotel, it's a big problem. It's a problem because what it means is nobody cared enough to insist, okay, yes, you can bring your hotel, you can have your architects, but it must reflect something of Grenada.
Absolutely.
Somebody had to care enough to insist on that.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Do you know, I have to be blunt. I can't help it. There are people out there who art, so what? But you know something, Sue? There are a lot of people around the world who are listening to you at this very moment. And somewhere in that group, there's probably a handful, maybe just a handful, who are probably thinking, you know, boy, this woman and the folks in Grenada, they're really trying to do something beneficial. How would you like to see people get involved?
I would like to, first of all, let me say, I've been talking about this for years, that Grenadians should collect Grenadian art, and I am seeing that starting to happen. That Grenadians in Grenada, living in Grenada, buy a piece of art from a Grenadian and put it in their home. There has been a misconception.
Stop.
Yes, you can't believe me. You can't believe me.
I hate to interrupt you, but this past week, there's a lady named Lydia James. She, right now, I think she's in Toronto. She sent me 2 photographs this week of vases.
Yes.
Okay? Designed with the Grenadian colors for independence.
Yes.
And I promptly showed them on my program.
Yes.
I could not believe that she just bought ordinary glass vases.
Yeah.
And
painted them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ask, what's the first level that people can engage with if they want to support? You know, a piece of art is not decoration to match your couch. I hear that a lot. Oh, when I build my house, I'm going to come and buy a piece of art. I'm going to go put it up in my living room. Art is not to decorate. Art is to inspire you, so that when you get up in the morning and you look at that, whether it's a tiny little vase painted, whether it's a beautiful big painting, whatever it is, you look at it and you just feel, I can go on, I can face another day. So art is to inspire you. So by Grenadians collecting Grenada's art, it puts that confidence back into Grenada that it's a place that's worthy of your dollars, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about trading your dollars for somebody's life. Their life is their time, their involvement. You know, when people ask me, how long does it take you to do a painting? You know, it maybe take a week, 2 weeks, a month, plus 35 years, because all that 35 years that I have been painting goes into this painting. So anyway, the other thing is how to get involved. Corporates can get involved by supporting. Back to the Venice Biennale, while this time we have support from an Italian nonprofit who is giving us tremendous support to be there. Hundreds of thousands of euros is what it costs. But there are still some costs that are left up to us, which is right. We shouldn't just get a free ride.
Absolutely.
So we need to get the artists there. We need to get the art shipped. We need to have accommodations while we're there. And I'm telling you, we do it on the cheap and cheerful. We don't go and stay at the most expensive hotel. We rent an Airbnb apartment and everybody stays together, and we go to the grocery and we cook, and, you know. So if somebody is interested, they can go to our website, grenadavenice.org, and the first, on the home page, it says, how can I help? So click that button and you'll see how you can help.
Okay.
Yes. along that line, I have to say that one of our local corporates, Century 21, who is a real estate company headed up by Paula Latouche.
I know her very well.
They are going to be doing their 5th anniversary coming up, and will be doing a fundraiser to assist Grenada's participation in Venice.
There you go.
So that's exactly what you're asking about.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing that does make all the difference. So be on the outlook for that. You'll see a lot in social media about that fundraiser with Paula.
There are a couple of comments here on Facebook I want to share. Do you know somebody named Anthea Rello?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Anthea says, way to go, Sue. So good seeing you. Then Anthony DeRiggs. Do you know Anthony?
I do.
You know, yeah. Anthony says, art will be appreciated in Grenada when we get past the jump up and whine mentality.
Yeah.
Everything has its place, and those in authority must learn to appreciate and encourage art in its varied forms.
Amen. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, he's a writer, so he knows.
Oh, let me tell you, this guy is so creative. Several times a week.
Yeah.
Have you seen the little pieces he does?
Yes, I have, yes.
I run them on my program.
Yeah. He's a wordsmith who paints a picture.
Yeah.
Because when you read, you can see just the scene that he is developing.
Yeah. There's somebody who just posted something on Rumble Chat on Grenada Broadcast. His or her name is Good Morning Grenada, and asking the question, what exactly is Grenadian art?
Well, Grenadian art is art that has Grenada as its essence. Much of it is produced in Grenada, much of it is produced outside Grenada by those who have been here or who have read of here. Art is not about geography. Art is about the essence of a place, that which is invisible, that which you must intuit and feel with your spirit. But when you look at it, you get that instant connection to say, yes, this is Grenada, this is Caribbean. I hope that answered his question.
Yeah, I hope so. Good morning, Grenada. Susan, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've opened up my eyes, and I certainly hope you've touched a number of other people out there who'd be also willing to help make this possible. When is it again?
Opens May 8th.
May 8th.
If you haven't made your holiday plans yet and you're fancying a European vacation, Italy, Venice, you could join us for the opening.
Are you going to try and get the ride on one of those gondolas?
Okay. I have been to Venice several times, and I have to tell you, I have not yet ridden on a gondola because it's a tourist thing to do. It's a tourist. If you're a working person in Venice, you jump on the Vaporetto, which is a water bus. And you ride on the bus.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe this time I'll do a romantic gondola ride with Mr. Maines. Who knows?
Before we go, let me try and pronounce this properly again. Biennale
di Venezia.
Biennale di Venezia.
But listen, if you say Venice Biennale or Venice Biennale, no, I'm not going to correct you, especially if you come with dollars.
I just love it. Biennale di Venezia. Excuse me.
Yes, there you go. And I hope we'll have another chance to talk, George.
Please.
Because there's another project in Grenada that has just opened. And I want to be able to tell you about it, but not this time. It's called Art House 473.
Art House 473.
And it's in Calais.
Area code.
Yes, it is. Art House 473. It's in Calais. It's my new project, and I'll come back again and tell you more about that. It's all for the development of art in Grenada.
Keep in touch.
Thank you.
Sue Maines, who is with the Grenada Arts Council. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, Sue, I'll tell you what. I want to remind you that you really need to try and listen to the program with Ann Peters later on today. Very, very interesting stuff. Folks, coming up next, we're going to probably make you cry, just weep a little bit. I'm going to bring you a portion of the program that we did on Thursday night, Make Me Chat, where this lady was telling us about 3 little children, preteens, she befriended. These kids were living alone in a house. And what she had to go through, it's just pathetic, pathetic. Rather than me spending a lot of time explaining to you what was actually happening, I'm gonna just let you watch the video yourself. And we'll do that after we take this little break.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our spice side.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Yes, here we go. Now, should I really set this up? Should I really set this up? I think, like I said, yeah, there we go. I forgot. Should I really set this up? I think I'm just gonna run the video for you and let it speak for itself.
Rachel is someone who cares, who has a passion for social work. She puts a lot of effort into coming in contact with especially children who are within the system and seeks to get the support of organizations to deal with some of the issues that come up in the system. But those of us who try to get things done through the system know that this is not always easy. And especially when you are dealing with wards of the state who have been abandoned for the most part by family. Some have parents that can't take care of them. Some don't have parents at all. And Rachel has been trying to help 2 of these children, a boy and a girl. And she wants to share some of the experiences she has had. And as we do on Make We Chat, we want to listen to her experiences, comment on them, of course. But at the end of it all, we want to see, is there some way that we can help by helping children who are within the system, trying, just putting a little bit more effort into helping those unfortunate children, because so many of them out there would just love to have someone reach out to them and offer a helping hand. And it always saddens me when I think of children going through pain, going through suffering, being disadvantaged because they're children. They have not yet become adults to be responsible for anything. So
wow, I'm seeing you. How? My son is fighting here.
Oh,
No,
there
I'm
she
seeing
is.
you.
We're seeing
We
her.
seeing you.
My son is a genius. He's just not giving up.
we're seeing the light bouncing off her glasses.
My
Yeah,
son
yeah,
fixed it. Oh my God.
You need,
That's
you need to
okay.
get some more light on your face.
You
Yeah.
want my son there?
What I want you to do for us, Rachel, is to take us through very slowly so we can understand and participate in that discussion. Take us through how you came in contact with these two young children that you are trying to help.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Right.
Thank you for having me on the show. And I want to start by saying at least two things. Except the Lord build the house, the labor in vain that built it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Don't trouble anything again. Also, I want to say we need peace and love. Okay. Well, I came back. I came back to Grenada by moving back and forth after I have my son, 2015. And I remember we will move from that. Okay, sorry. I remember we had an open air service at the Queen's Mardi Gras one night of that same year. I cannot remember exact date and time, but I remember it's a night. I saw 3 little children straying by a rum shop. So I'm like, who's these kids? Believe you me, if I told you I knew what the pastor said at night, I would have been lying. Because my eyes was just fascinated on these 3 children. And I'm like, what are these kids doing in this rum shop? And I'm just waiting for him to say amen to talk to them. There was their little dolly in a drain. I hate to beg a man, buy something for me. I'm like, what? She tell a man buy something for her. As they finished, I went across. I say, who are you? They're looking at me and they're laughing. I'm like, what? I say, who are you? But what I did the next night, I started to walk with food for them. So I catch them. I walk with food every night. They will sit on the wall. I will go early before everybody come, feed them, then wait for my session. Every night I did that. Nobody knows. The Saturday when my husband said to me, okay, let us go over and witness. I say, I'm going to, because I wanted to know where they were living. So the evening I went up that area, I asked a guy, there's 3 kids on the street roaming. Who are they kids? He said to me, they are living in that abandoned house there. I'm saying, what? That house had windows, but it was patched with wooden things. The gate was chained with a piece of wire or something. And nobody there but them. The bigger one was, at the time, one was about 10 or 11, 9, and 8. Something like that. 11, but 3 of them underage. And I said to them, where's your mom? They say she's not here. I said, where's your dad? He's gone. I said, nighttime he's gone. So the guy said to me, these kids live on their own, they look after themselves. I say, you crazy. Now that young man, who is their father, is he went to special ed school, so he should know what's going on in his head. He act like he's stupid, you know. So I said, I cannot meet this man no time. So you know what I did one night? I decided to find that man. I passed there 6 o'clock, he was not there. I went home, I came home because I'm living walking distance to the kids. I came home, I did what I have to do. At least I ran away, but my husband didn't know. I said, I'm coming back. And I ran up the hill, and I walked down, get to the hill as fast as I can. He's not there. I said, what? The children, I give them things to eat, I feed them, I say, okay, I'm coming back. When my husband went in his bed, I left the house. He didn't know. Because I know he's not getting up. So when he went in his bed at night, I was out of the house. So if you had a man took me in the corner up there, he would have said not his wife. But I was not yet. It sounds like a joke, but the people in the area, could tell you the drama with me and the kids. The people in the area could tell you. One woman said to me, Miss, I've been watching you, and I'm scared that man will kill you. Because every time you say, I want to kill this lady, watch this then. I was not scared of him, but I couldn't find him. So one time, the child said, Miss, he come. I said, call me. I tell him, no, on top. I said, call me when you see him home. So I got a call on my phone. When I see him, I said, good job. I left here probably about 9 because you can't get him early. And I reached him. He's sitting on the veranda. I was not scared to go in. But what I did, I said, watch now, what going on? You're nice kids, man. What going on? And he went, oh, you know. After he questioned me and said, he going to kill me, you know. Oh, you know, I need help for them and blah, blah, blah. So then I started to do my homework now. I said, you know what? I need to find out about these kids and what is happening. So I remember one person said to me, nobody's studying these kids. They're miserable at this and that. I said, but the kids, they're hungry. They're looking for help. And the father, the people in the community was scared of him because he act up and he gets on and nobody's trying to say, well, let me talk to him. But a stranger come to talk to him and he likes that. And everybody's looking at me. Oh, the man going to do it. I say, he's not doing me nothing. I say, I'm not scared of him. And when he realized, okay, so we give them some stuff from the church now. My pastor say, bring them. I'm glad. So I started to give them my clothes, look for my son clothes, dress them up nice, and they come to church. The mistake I make, not to make a mistake, show them where I was living. I showed them where I was living. Every day after school, these kids, I hear chop, chop, chop coming on there.
Very true.
Oh yes, every day after school, so they're not roaming in town anymore. And the police, social worker, this one, they always say they was enemies mothers. They don't know me, right? Nobody knows me. They just only hearing my name. So one day, the police in St. Paul's called me, and he said to me, "No, let me step back a bit. Now, this young man was beating these kids and tying them in the house, tying them like animals, tying them like animals. Oh no! Now, I teach at Good Hope Swimming Pool, right? So what I does, I will check for that child. Now I'll give her food in her bag. She have a little bag on her back. If you open it, it's food in the bag. A lady said, but miss, you are patient with? She was very disruptive. But when you see that child with me, she is calm. Nobody else, and she grabbed onto me like, Lord, she get her mother. Her skin was very itchy, sorry. Miss, if you see her, you want to touch her. And everybody's calling her now because she has sores. I was not scared of the sores. I know what to do. Now, when my husband gone, I used to tell her, come. Don't come with my husband there. I don't want to disrupt. So she used to time him now because she come and they making noise and my husband getting annoyed. He don't like the noise. And my husband was very quiet and disruption come to his house. I bring it. Like, oh my God. Sometimes I say, it's quiet. Noise they're making. I say, Lord Jesus. But I'm not giving them up. The police, I call them. I say, listen, now this child tear up in the house like an animal, you know. Y'all not coming. Me say I had to go to work for 2 o'clock. And I stand up by there until from about 9 o'clock till 1:30 and nobody came. I say, okay, that's okay. Then I walked to social development. When they saw with me, oh, Rolana. I say, wow, she's a demon. When they see her, I say, she's not going to school. I say, why is she not going to school? They tell me, oh, they run around. To make a long story short, I started to give them pressure, me. I work with her in education, finding out what to do, and she behind me. Because I'm going to work. Now she gets somebody, she's following me. If I tell her don't come, she finds me where I am. So if I say don't come today, I'm going to the school, don't come. When I look at she peeping, she follow me to school.
Oh my.
Yes, she follows me. When I say don't come,
that's so sad.
And I'm like, oh my God. But what I used to do now, she has to dress like me, like a coach. So I will put on my jeans pants and my jersey, you know. So 2 hours is the coach, we're going to work. That's what it used to be. So lo and behold, I was called in at the time in Queen's Park to a meeting. Let's put it so. Police, some of the workers, and they asked me. They're trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to talk, and a certain individual there who's supposed to be still in the social play, in the child protection, with an attitude. So the one of them said, you call, give her a chance to talk. When I call on the phone first thing, I say, could you all make a place and, you know, What she tell me? You could get it. I said, no. You in the field, so you get it and we will help you all. There are people standing ready with me to help you all clothe and feed them. That didn't happen. She ended up in a crazy house. I'm wrapping up. She ended up in a crazy house. Thank God for Ursula Antoine.
Wait, hold on.
Yes, miss.
So the social services took her from where she was and put her in the Mount Gay Hospital for people who are mentally ill.
Right. Well, let me tell you what happened in that case now. She's a very disruptive child, but she and the body lying on the road. But they has problem that they cannot see. Now they came to me. She fights everybody except me. So the police are saying, and I understand was Corporal Thomas in St. Paul. That man is so nice. You know why? He was understanding me because he was a believer. He knew God also. Oh, so he said to me, Miss Moses, I know you're trying. Some of them when they go there, some of them running them door and they're beating them. Some beat them, some was very nice. There was a woman police. She was so caring that I said, Lord, if it had some more like her. She understood as a mother, right? So that is why I think she started to fight back also. She trying to defend herself. But let me tell you, when that child, they had no place to put her because everybody she go ask was a problem. She fight, she disrupted because she's getting licked from her father, tying her up like an animal. Then they don't know what to do. That Christmas of 2 years ago, when I checked for her, Miss Ursula Antoine, thank God she came in. She that gave me the forum. Nobody else gave me. So Miss Antoine said, these kids need some help. So I went and I find out. They said no. When Mrs. Darby, who is now in charge, she is so sweet. She's now in charge of the place on Scott Street. I said, Miss Darby, do you know this? She was in social development at the time. She said no. She said, check the file. She was the only person that said, check the file. When she checked the file, you know what happened, miss? Before I found them in 2015, there was records and things on the file to help the father build a house, and nothing was done. I did my homework so good that when I went to them, I had the facts, I asked questions, and I tried to drill them through because I had the facts in my hand, but they didn't know. What I do, I go into people who I know, and I find out certain stuff. But they don't know. But I didn't even write it on a paper, it's in my head. And I ask and I find out. She said to the man, did you know that? He talked like, who is them? Who is these children? Like they're nobody. What I gather from them, I could tell you for what I know. I was with them on the ground, walking with them in social development. And this was the reaction. Eventually, they had no way at the time, Miss Christopher and Mr. Julian. I could say these two people, God bless their heart. The others, when they say them on call, I've never seen them. They will talk to me on the phone. But if it's Roland and them, they're not coming. I'm telling you. So this thing hurt me so bad. One day I hear my phone ring. Dr. Spencer called me from the mental hospital. So I said, wait, Dr. Spencer, hold on. This is Rachel Modest home, you know. He said, yes, I know. But all I hear is Miss Modest, who are you? I said, so what you want to put me in a crazy house? He laughed, he make a joke, you know. He said, no, miss, I want to see you. Could you come up? Rolanda is asking for you in the Monge Hospital. I said, she's in the Monge Hospital, so she stayed there for the Christmas. She stayed there. My heart broke, so I went for her. Miss Antoine
How
came
old is she?
here.
How old is she?
She is now, I think she turned 12. 12. Right now, she's at the Backlet home, but we reached that. So, sir, it's a lot happening. And that's
so
one.
Where are the two boys? That used to be
The two boys, one is right now in the home for the boys, and that's in Richmond Hill, and the other one is up in Backlet also.
Hill?
Huh? Richmond Hill, that's Father Madigan have a home. I had a home there.
Okay.
And I think he's there. He's good. Not I think, I know he's there because I'm like his mother still. I'm his mother still. Even though it seems as though
where's the other one?
He is up at the Backlet. Even though it seems as though they are hidden from me, he finds me, he comes to me still. Yes. You see what is happening from the crazy house. When I went to the crazy house, a man in the crazy house is saying to Rolanda, find your place. And I'm looking at the nurse. Listen, no, in the crazy house, everybody is together. Let's put it so. No, they don't have a barricade like when I went to Trinidad jail. Even though they're in the same, they don't have a barricade. They come to eat. The men eating on that table and the women eating this, so they close. So a man could get up and cough a woman. So she was walking around a guy. He said to her, "Find your place." And I said, "Oh, she in the crazy house here." Now, and I asked the nurse. I said, "Miss, you hold on the man tell her? Because she's a child, but when you find she walking around him too much, find your place." I said, "No. If anything happen here, a fight could break out because everybody is actually together eating together, and the bathrooms are so and that they are together." And when I heard the guy kill the person in the crazy house, I said, "Well, I expected something like that to happen because everybody's interacting like together. It's not a barricade."
Just a quick question. So you have both adult and youth population together in the mental hospital?
Yes, that's what I saw when I got there, and I asked the question.
That is just thoughtful.
I said, "This is where this child is, miss." I said, "Dr. Spencer, are you crazy?" And I asked him, this is what I asked Dr. Spencer. "You giving her medication. Is she crazy?" "No." I said, "She's not crazy, right?" "No, up to now, until now I have that medication. I watch up the side effects. It's so terrible."
Medication for her.
To calm her, they said. But what is happening, I realized this is what happened. One time I give her the medication, they asked me to give her. That child almost root up a tree, you know. She didn't beat me.
Yes.
She went and fight with a tree.
Yes.
Not me. So I'm like, "Oh," she said, "Don't give me, Miss Modest, don't," because I wanted her to be calm that day, because I wanted a quietness. So I willingly give her. I told him, I said, "Listen to me. I would not give her." I said, "Dr. Spencer, I used to give her, you know what I used to give her? There was a Rasta guy I get herbs from. So what I did, I asked him for medication to reverse, to calm her down. When I started to give her that, she was more calm. I talked to him and I showed him the name of the medication that I gave her and explained to him what was going on with her.
Medication.
And he gave me the herb.
Because it's not like she is the way she is because she has a mental illness. She is that way because of the environment in which
That's right. I told him that.
She doesn't know how else to behave. And they give her mind-altering drugs.
Well, the other thing that's, I know. The other thing too is that, in what dosage did they give it to her? Because, what's good for an adult is not necessarily the same dosage you give a child.
Who prescribed that for her? Who sat with her? Who diagnosed her?
My head hurts.
Who came to
I'm telling you.
That she
this scares me.
Let me tell you something I learned.
Scary.
I'm going to tell you something what I learned from dealing with them. No. They will call you to something, right? And when you, the only person, I could be very honest with you, that gave me a real open, talk was Mrs. Dabio. Thank God. I see her there now. She's trying her best. I don't know what is happening because, I told her, I say, "You are there. I know you're from school with your children and you're very good. Try your best." But there are some people in there until they move out, I think, because that's the stone wall. I've been hating them so much that what I had to do by much talking to myself and praying, I went back and said, "Miss, I want to say to you, I come back here because I feel led to come back to tell you all I forgive you all." And I was very honest. She said, "Oh my God, miss, you I said, "Yes, I hated you all. Not in that sense. I would not tell you all any problem. I've been dealing with kids for 28 years. Would you believe me? I've been teaching swimming and athletics for 28 years. I was a child who was hurt and abused. They don't know that. I never talked that, right? I was abused and I was hurt and I used to keep things inside of me and I wanted to kill my father. Nobody knows that. But God changed my heart. And I think I want to do something positive. I saw my mother is dead. And I said, when I talking, I don't give my sisters and them here. My mother is dead. Probably I feel how she was alive and I say it. She's dead. Let me tell you, she pulled me out in a church and break up my hand for going to church. Would you believe that? At the age of 13. So you expect me to feel how these kids feeling, right? 13 years. You know where I live? With people. They did not treat me good too. You know who treat me good? And I will say it on public air, and everybody know him. You might know. Pastor Selwyn Halen and his wife treat me like a good. They discipline me. At times I give them trouble, but he have days when his wife say, "Oh God," she know what to say. But you know what happened? That helped me to be better. Today, why I'm standing like this, I say thank God for them, Yes, I know I come from good. I can't listen. I come from good. Let's say, well-to-do family. Mr. Grant know them. Anthony Hall was my grand uncle, right? So I won't say more. And I come from, but again, people see you. Some will help you, and some will keep you on the ground to fight for yourself. And I like that. Because I like to do things for myself. So nobody say point a finger because of who I grew up. So that is why I decided to make a difference. Nobody knows. When I used to run, ask Mr. Francis and them. I didn't even bother with. I trained for myself. I say they like convent and high school, whatever. I was in high school. I make the mark for myself. I used to train in the night. Nobody sees me when I train. But what I do when I go on the track, I know I will share licks. That's the kind of mind I had. You see, what has been happening? I see the abuse, and I'm trying, what could I do to better it? Now, the kids in school right now, I have some kids dealing with. The police tell me today, I went by them and chat about something. I was talking to them. I move all around, miss, in the social place with the police today. And I said to them, miss, if you know information, and I tell you all. She said, well, we going to lock you up. I said, I go challenge all if they want to lock me up. I told her that. Because, you call some of them, you tell them the issue. We call child protection one day and say to them, this child is abused in that house in X place. You know what they did? They stay in the office and call the house. So what them people going to tell them? What the people going to tell them? The child is still in the house, miss. Answers. The child is still. So how do you want me to tell them stuff? That doesn't make sense. They say, no, we're trying to do this. Yes. Show me that you want to do it. I did not talk on your program last week for a reason. The same little girl, well, again, my husband may be here in the house. He did not know I went to Backless home on Saturday. I was up there. He didn't know. I left the house here.
You don't know.
But my husband know I just do crazy stuff in the sense that crazy good stuff. He think I'm mad, but he understand me now. Because I'm settling down a bit, I'm reminiscing. 28 years now, going through that within Curator and Pitimatic and Grenada. And it's like I'm alone here. But I said, Mr. Grant, and you all know why. You all have me on the program. I don't know why. Up to now, I don't even know the lady that is speaking to me, Miss Sinclair. I really never meet her. Never. But a call came in my house. I said, Caribbean, I don't like to talk, but people hear me. So probably now is the time for people to hear me. Because this disruption in our country too, I don't even know what to say. The people are so hurting. I am so hurting. My husband is a teacher. But what can I say? I told the union man, listen to me carefully. Some people might say they don't believe in God, but you see me? Watch what will happen in this country. Watch. Some people like to say this man, this. I not saying none is what. I told God, any side the pendulum swing, hit it. Because some of us lie too much. No, I'm honest. And if one person is praying, I am trying to pray honestly for this nation. Because too much wickedness. I know about 74 crisis, I was in school young. So I'm 50 already. When we get tear gas by Mother Rose School. Yes. So I am so hot sometimes. I say, Lord, help me to stay calm. When I hear all these things, this child is up there. And when I went there, she said the lady boxing her. And I challenged the lady. I said, Miss, I want to talk to you. I said, you know this child. That's the second time she tell me this when I come here. Because she gave trouble, the girls up there is beating her. So she's going to fight them. I know they can't handle her. A police alone could not have put that child in a van. A police alone. She have plus with her. Not she alone that is walking. She walking with legions on her. And if she don't get the right remedy, she's going to kill them up there. And I told them that. Before they brought her there, I said she's going to kill all you up there. because she fight like a man. And she's only shot, she's not a little girl, but she fight like a man.
But if you have a woman who is not capable of even taking care of herself, she keeps getting pregnant, she keeps having children.
That's right.
She can't take care of herself, she can't take care of the children. At what point do you just tie her tubes when she goes into the hospital?
Exactly.
But you know, Beverly, that crossed my mind, but I didn't want to say it because you know what instantly came to my mind was Indira Gandhi and India.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, people will be all over you for that. But I mean,
that's
where
all the whole
is
other
people?
people
Yeah, exactly.
who are not helping these children.
I agree to that.
Who would not lift a finger to help these children. Not only are they not helping, you know, they wouldn't help.
True.
Because it's going to disturb them in their comfort zone. And we know that there are some people who ain't leaving the comfort zone for nothing.
Correct.
It's true.
So at what point does she go into the hospital? Because I'm sure she's not giving birth to these children by the roadside. Going into an institution to give birth, and you must have it on record. You must know that she can't take care of herself. You must know that she can't take care of the children.
Exactly.
Because if she could take care of herself, she would probably, you know, engage in some kind of family planning.
Of course.
Something so that she doesn't keep having these children. So at one point, do the authorities step in and say, okay, let's contact the family, let's contact whoever and let them know we have to tie the tubes because this can't continue.
Yeah, and it's true.
The approach in these islands is something I've queried. They look at the age of the person, and then what they say is, oh, it's the person's right.
Exactly.
Now, what did
And the adults.
Yeah.
And
that
Well,
can help themselves.
It goes beyond. I would like. I mean, yes, there's the person's right, but I think you also have a responsibility to look at the person's
I
mental
agree
competence.
with you. I agree with you.
You
But
know,
I'm telling you
and
what
that is
doctors have told
something-
me.
Yeah, and
That's
that
what
is
they've told
something
me.
that I know that courts here also take into consideration whether or not a person is mentally, you know, competent and able to make certain decisions for themselves and to do those things.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, there's a problem that and the other thing that's bugging me is the men that would take advantage, because I am seeing it. I'm not calling it anything other than taking advantage, because you cannot enter into a relationship of equals with somebody who's like that.
I don't think so.
That's not to do the relationship.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
What
But what I'm
it is,
saying,
it's
no, I
not
hear
from
with
a
you, right?
position of equality at all.
It's just a nature call. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Yes, it's true.
These men have zero intention of being in any kind of relationship with her. Because apart from the father, which Rachel would have met, and he's also someone who needs some kind of care.
They were scared of him, you know.
You know, those 3 children they have together, maybe they were trying to have some kind of relationship, but were not capable. You know, they weren't capable because obviously they need help. Society turns their back on them, and if you try to do something responsible to say at least ensure that she doesn't have any more children, because she's not getting younger, even if she gets treatment, even if she turns herself around, by the time she gets into her 40s, into her 50s, there's no need for her to go and have any more children.
You know what? You know what the doctor told me in a situation like that? Suppose the man who she meets wants to have a child.
Just cannot.
No, I'm serious.
You know,
I've been there.
I know, but he is referring to a woman who can take care of herself and take care of a child.
You think so?
We are talking here about a woman who cannot take care of herself, cannot take care of a child, and she will be abused, raped, taken advantage of, and will have children. And those children are left at the mercy.
Exactly. And that's the other question. I mean, you're talking about the woman and the woman's rights, but what about the child?
Children.
No, but that's what I'm saying, because that is how far, many times, when I've had this conversation, that's how far it goes. It goes only to the woman's right, but the society impact, the child, nobody seems to care beyond that. And there's some conversations we don't have in our Caribbean society. And that's one of them. That's one of them.
Because and that is why I say this thing is troubling on so many levels, on so many sides. Because here is Rachel now, come across this situation with these children, going to the agencies that she believes should help. Ministry of Social Services, Child Welfare Authority, the police, these organizations that you think should offer some help. And within these organizations, you will find individuals, as she have named a few, who will, you know, do what they're supposed to do, number one. And
out of the goodness of their heart.
Right,
Excuse
number
me.
one.
You
And
know what
number
happens? You know what happens? Right now, that house that they asked, I mean, they had a little family issue. The guy has a piece of land at the back. Now, right now, they want these kids to leave Bacolod. But still they're coming out to give problems because they have nowhere to stay as yet. That house is not yet built. They're trying to stress the poor grandmother. The grandmother not even able. She's sick with her heart and something. So poor grandmother does try, but she's sick. So it's me she calling. She tell them straight, I am the mother. She tell them that.
Right. So even if that house was to be built on that property, who are they releasing the children to?
Exactly.
To you? It has to be to you. Because obviously their father can't take care of them. Their mother can't. The grandmother you just mentioned can't. So if they're going to release these children, in whose care?
Exactly.
And you know, I'm wondering because sometimes you go to them and they're so hostile. No, I was in the traffic and I'm glad it happened. But if my phone was out, I would have just take a picture quick with the van. But I didn't have my phone in my hand. The guy said, what is she? When I look, I say, oh, she work in social development, in child protection. I said, what's she name again? Or in the office. She act like a big bulldog. And the man said she face always wrong. I said, they has problems a lot. I said, let's pray for them. I was honest. And I'm glad. That was last week there. You know what happened? Sometimes she started act up with the man. I said, look, and then I said she looking after kids. So what they getting? Yes, and I should have taken the picture. I mean, I just have it ready. So when I come to talk, I tell them they challenge me, put me to the jail, and I will win them. I don't call their names. I give you the facts. And I write down some dates. Because, you know, people scared to talk but I was abused. A lot of things I don't say. And I know how they feel.
Yeah.
I went to school. Miss, I was in school in high school. And that girl said, Miss, you know, my stepfather must have sex with me. And I'm like, and mom, you know, I say, and then what she tell me, child protection, no. I say, in truth. Say, in truth. So I leave it rest. Because they will put me in the jail again. And the child want to come and live with me. So you all need to just have a piece of land. I'll get us off of us 70,000. And believe you me, if 4 of us work together, they go pay us to look after them. Because I go work in Grenada and I will send the money for all you. I'm honest. Because right now, if I get a building, parents will send their kids to me. They believe in me. Karaku children, they believe in me. You know why? When I talk to them, I don't say, you're bad, you're wicked. I will say, come. I say, no, you don't have to behave like that. Let's talk. And I get them, I appease them. I don't hardly ever tell them, come to church, serve God. I don't tell them that sometimes, you know. I don't tell them that, you know.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah, they don't.
I don't tell them. When they come to me, I start to give them word. I say, Jesus could fix it for you. He could change your story. He could do this for you. I say, I used to try to smoke paper. I say, you know why? I was living with my father. He used to sell the drugs, but I never smoked it. But he that helped me when my mother break up my hand for going to church. So I stick with him. I drinking wheat tea and I didn't even know. When I say, what is tea? He make me feel like drunk. He said, die them to all them church people don't want. I said, whoa, you're drinking weed now. So you see? So I went through some stuff. My sister and mommy didn't even know that. I never said nothing. I never said anything. But these kids that are hurting now, and I make up my mind and said, God, even though it takes me alone, I will be a lone ranger. I will pray, and I know I will get to be the name of Jesus is bigger than anything else. I tell them Rolana, Joshua, and Jaron will be something in this nation, a change people.
there you have it, folks. There you have it. Happening right here in pure Grenada. By the way, for those of you wondering, that was an excerpt from last Thursday's edition of McWe Chat, every Thursday evening from 8 to 10. Little group of us get together here and we, just discuss things happening in and around Grenada and around the region as well. And sometimes we even delve as far as Brexit, like we did this past Thursday. The early part of that program discussed Brexit. So you never know what to expect. But if you ever have time, please join us on a Thursday evening, 8 to 10, right here on GrenadaBroadcast.com. Now, where are we? I see a note here on... yeah, a couple of notes are showing up here now. Antheorello says, I am in years. I guess she means tears. I'm in tears, George. Lydia James says, whoa. What a mouthful. Yeah. I've now seen that piece about 3 or 4 times, and it's just awfully difficult to accept. But I just hope that we all wake up and open our eyes, and this type of stuff will eventually go away without help. It's not going to happen unless we start doing something about it. And I do hope that you ask yourselves the questions that I suggested you do at the top of the program this morning. Now, 22 minutes after the hour. We're really starting to run out of time. So I think I'm going to have to take a little break here, cut things kind of short, and we'll come back with LaBoucan.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Alrighty, folks. LaBoucan is a very creative organization which is run by playwright Francis Urias Peters and his wife, Ann Peters. As you're about to find out, they do a whole lot more than just putting on theatrical plays, as they strive to develop the creative arts in Grenada. Yesterday afternoon, I spent about an hour learning about this incredible group. And I want to share some of that with you right now.
Exilia, if you love me right, Miss Sister, all Miss Sisters for me. Okay, George, welcome to LaBoucan. This is our main area that is multifaceted. We use it for training and workshops, seminars, whatever. And we also use it for rehearsals. And sometimes we stage mini productions here, the smaller productions, specifically when we have students in training and they need to interact with the audience, or if we have something that we want to target small audiences. So for example, one of the productions we did not too long ago was called What's Your Verdict? It was a courtroom drama that dealt with the issue of incest. Because one of the objectives of LaBoucan, in addition to just providing people with entertainment and training, we see the center as an edutainment center where we use education to spread the philosophy of keeping our culture alive and knowing who we are as Grenadian people, because we have found that too many of our young people do not know who they are. They do not know what being a Grenadian is, and they do not know a lot of the history of the country. So we use the creative arts to do that kind of work. So it's interesting work, it's fulfilling work, because when you see the responses in young people, it really is fulfilling. If you just walk with me on this side, you'll see a lot of crazy stuff. So you'll see flambeau, which we use. There's our basket with the nutmeg. Again, all telling people that this is who we are. We nutmeg and we spices. We have real cinnamon. If you break a piece, it's not a joke. You can smell the aroma. So all we do is just crack open some. So this end would be our offices and so on. We're getting ready for a production for February, which is called Mayhem in Paradise, that focuses on the sale of our lands in this country to foreign people. And we make no apology about that. We think that land is our heritage. We don't have anything. We have no minerals. What we have are human resources and land. So we have to keep that if we really want to maintain who we are as Grenadians. Now, so these are all of us, members of the musical band, getting ready for the rehearsal. If you look on the wall again, you will see symbolism of who we are as a people. The machete or the cutlass as we know it. The poor man gun, some people call it. You will see symbolism of the cocoa basket, our nutmeg, the music that we do, the shack and all of that. You see the symbolism of the drums. If you look on the doors, you see the symbolism of the straw hat. At one time, wild pine was a very lucrative product in Grenada. We have lost that industry. And now that we get rid of plastic, maybe it's something that somebody needs to consider. So we could go back to making wild pine bags to go to the supermarket rather than going with plastic that is continuously eroding our environment. Replicas, the fake windows and so would be parts of the set when we did the production struggle. Rather than dismantling them, we use them for other reasons and other purposes. If you walk with me, I'll take you to what I call the skills lab. Right, so here in the skills lab, George, is where we do the health and wellness programs. And the main health and wellness program that we currently offer is the training at the CVQ levels 2, 3, and 4 in allied health geriatric care. So in here, we prepare participants for their CVQ programs at either levels 2, levels 3, or levels 4 to take care of the elderly. And although they're covered down, but what we have here are the mannequins. So if you walk with me, I can maybe just expose his face for a little bit, but I wouldn't trouble him too much. So I say in him, but he has his dress on because we can change the genders as depending on what we do. You can train the students to do mouth washes, tubes, catheters, etc. And there you'd have, like, when we're training them to feed people, they have all the feeding stuff. They have the wheelchairs. This is another training device that we use to do internal body organs and stuff like that. So they can literally see it, touch it, and feel what it is all about. But they're covered now because we don't have anybody in training. This is a little library where they utilize this for resources in terms of doing their own little research and so on. We have a little desktop computer here that they use. As you see, linens, towels, mannequins, storage. So the students utilize all of this. Now you may wonder why we have this little kitchenette there. But in theater, apart from actually doing the script and all of that, students have to be involved in front of house and how you take care of your audience and all of that. So there are times when we would have them preparing little things like sandwiches and so on that you use for particular kinds of productions and packages. So they practice all of that in here. So we're very, we're very happy with what we have been able to accomplish in a short space of time. We have a board of directors, everybody volunteers. So we do admin, we're on stage, we're in productions, we do everything. Cecil Noel is a member of our board. Elwin McQuilkin Black Wizard is a member of our board. Agatha Alexis, one of our leading female actresses, is a member of our board. The board is chaired by Isaac Bagon, a man that has done a lot, particularly in the area of community development. He's our chair. Bernadette Guy, who has been a social worker, police officer, is also a member of our board. I don't think Dale Bowler, who is also a member of the theatre company here, she's also on the board. And of course, most of what we do is through private sector support. Unfortunately, George, because Grenada does not have a creative industry, we get no support from any of the government agencies. We have, for example, approached national, what you call it again, lottery. You hear on the radio every day for building sports culture and whatever. Well, unfortunately, because maybe we are seen in a particular way, we've never had any support from the National Lottery Authority for any of our programs. Our training programs that we are doing, because we've not been able to get that kind of support, what we did in the last year or so is give 15 young people LaBoucan scholarships. What it meant is that Urias and I and Cecil and Ronnie, we have to give up our time to prepare them, and with private sector support from Spice Basket, who is one of our main partners, Grenada Cooperative Bank, who is one of the other corporate support. We get toilet tissue and so from the supermarket. What's his name again? I tried to remember. No, in Grandlands. Please forgive me for that. Oh gosh, you know I have a senior moment. Y'all have to forgive me for that. Real Value, right? So Real Value would give us toilet tissue and stuff like that. And Huggins, they've recently come on board with us in terms of giving us some level of support. So we've been able to pull that kind of support together to keep the center going. But the corporate support plus the support of our board members and what we call friends of the LaBoucan Creative Center makes it worthwhile to keep this work going, and we will not give up. We get some support from St. George's University because Urias also does a theatre arts class there. So they help us sometimes with photocopying, you know. So even if you're not getting cash, but you're getting in-kind support, that goes a long way. One of the other programs that we want to start doing, I did it in the past, but when you get distracted, it goes in different directions, is to get back into doing what we call the private sector health and wellness program. We at LaBoucan believe that preventive healthcare and what you call taking care of yourself is one of the main pillars of sustaining your own life and taking care of your life. So we are marketing to the private sector a package that will include monthly health and education sessions with their staff, get them to register with us. We would screen them, those persons who are diabetics, hypertensives, etc. We have a team of persons which would include doctors, pharmacists, and nurses. They are available 24 hours a day. If something is happening, you can call us, and we would make the particular references to the persons that are involved in the program. It saves time. So for example, if you had an emergency situation and we know what your blood group is, and somebody in the hospital needs to know, rather than having to go through the rigors of finding out what your blood group is, we can easily get that information out quickly to save your life. So that's one of the things we're going to be marketing to the private sector, and we're really looking forward to having this happen, because for me, I firmly believe that if we teach people how to take care of themselves by eating healthy, just doing the basic things, trying managing your stress and some things of daily living, and there's somebody you can call when you're sort of confused and you don't know where to go, it goes a long way into helping. So in a nutshell, I hope that was a big shell. George, earlier on I said to you that we don't have a creative industry in Grenada. And one of the concerns I have is that when I interact with young people under the age of 35, so I'm using 35, I mean I could go a little higher, you know, but I'm going to be very generous and say 35. They don't know a lot about their own history. You know, why are we called Grenadians? Is it just because we were born in a particular geographical location? Or are there specific things about us that someone can look at and say, oh, he or she is from Grenada? And one may think that that can be possible, but it is possible. For example, if you're in tune to who you are and where we're coming from as a people, you can be having a discussion with someone and you can tell which parish they came from by the rhythm of the language, certain terms that they would use. You know that is a person from St. Patrick. So they may say, much had been castigated by some people, but that's the reality. They may say something like, look how the boy wet my shoes in the water now. The use of the word my, because St. Patrick's is closely linked to us losing our French and our patois, we still have that kind of rhythm where we mix up French and patois sometimes, even when we speak English. So for example, it making hot. This is actually French language upside down, right? And our children, for example, do not know their history. One young lady said to me the other day, you know, in school we're talking about Christopher Columbus. I don't want to know about that. I want to know about Galway, Donovan, this man I'm hearing about. I want to know more about the revolution. I want to know more about people you hear of yesterday. It's Dame Hilda Bino. Who was this woman? What did she do for Grenada? These are the things our young people want to know. Not about Christopher Columbus. They claim that discovered us. And that is what we're still teaching our children in school. A couple of the students coming from Jamaica in recent times said to us, you know, Mr. Peters, I am embarrassed when students on campus come up to me to ask me about the Grenada Revolution, and I'm from Grenada and I don't know what to tell them. But they are telling me things that I don't know, because it's not part of what we know of, you know. A lot of the things that the music, the ring games, the history, I'm not saying we could recreate them, but we need to know that this was all part of our Grenadian DNA. There's an exercise I put my students through when I ask them to tell me the things that make them uniquely Grenadian. And I can never really get the answer. And what I'm looking for is basically our history as a people and our language. And we have to get our young people to understand that we speak 2 languages in Grenada, for example. English language is our professional language, but we have to learn it, George. We have to sit in a classroom and understand how to analyze, synthesize, syntax, verb and subject agreement and all of that. But our first language is Grenadian. So when I say, hey, George, what's going on? What happening? Where you been? Right? Somebody might want to scoff at that, but that is us. That's the energy that we have as a Grenadian people. Whoa, hey boy, long time I ain't see you. Right? And I say to the students, what's going on? There's nothing wrong with that. Where you going? There's nothing wrong with that. How are you? That's Her Majesty's English. How is you? That's bad English. And we have, no, George, you're laughing. But we have to be able to, get our children, our young people to understand that. So there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be ashamed of, you see. A guy from, let's say, St. Andrews say, mash dog. No, mash dog, I'm trying to say it now. Or, oh God. And we scoff. Oh, where this boy come from? He's saying God. When the white man come down from North America, he gets on the pulpit or wherever they preach on. And God is wonderful, man. And we say, amen. When the little boy in the street say God, we scoff and we laugh at him. Yeah? But the blue-eyed man could come down and say, and God. Right? And I know, George, it hurts, but we are losing it if we have not completely lost it. The saddest part of my experience, I was talking to a young girl in Laborie, visiting a friend. I had a guava in my hand. I asked her what it was. She looked at it and she said, Auntie Anne, it smelled like guava. It smelled like guava juice. But she didn't know it was a guava. That's a Grenadian child. Yeah? We have kids in this country who never went on an aircraft, but has an accent. I don't know whether it is from the South, they're not, but they have an American accent. I can't identify it because the Americans themselves have so many accents. You have to know whether they're from Carolina, just wherever. So George, until the educational system in this country recognizes that chalk and blackboard no longer works. That you have to have what I call the one-on-one earth experience. So if you want to teach our children about, I can't think of a thing right now because the music distracted me. You know the thing I'm supposed to be rehearsing. When he aim, he doesn't aim wrong. That's the history of Grenada. Just prior to independence, St. Velma gets shot. We sing a calypso about the man. Anyhow, I deviate from the thing a little bit. So until our children are grounded and try to appreciate the salt of the earth, the genesis of who we were as Grenadian people, where we came from, why we speak the way we speak, why we eat the kinds of foods we eat. Forget the television now, right? We will not be able to make that division between seeing something, recognizing it is important, yes, we can change, yes, but while I'm changing, I will always remember that was my grounding. So I would not be ashamed of it. Like those of us who know we walk to school barefoot, but no, we don't want anybody to know that we used to go to school without shoes. What's the big deal? Say you went to school without shoes now? Nothing wrong with that. You would have gone to school without shoes, but here is where you are now. So George, that's my concern. And that's what we try to do here at LaBoucan. Use theatre arts and entertainment to educate.
I am Cecil Noel. I'm one of the director of LaBoucan. And to me, LaBoucan means keeping the culture alive. Because what we aim to do is to make sure that there's continuity, to make sure that the younger generation have a feel and a better appreciation for what is our culture. I mean, we hear the name Crofton Maguire, but how many of our young people know what it means, or if matter of fact, if it means anything to them? We hear about Thelma Phillip and we hear all these names. So at LaBoucan, what we endeavor to do is to make sure that these names live on, but not just the name, but also what they stand for, what they promoted, what they did for Grenada. So LaBoucan is all about keeping our culture alive.
My name is Ronnie Ian Marryshow. I am a happy member of LaBoucan. I have been involved in music from many years of the 70s, and I want to see music with the culture, our music come alive. I want to share and pass on the talent, the songs, the genre, a different kind of music, folk music, calypso music, reggae music, to our younger generation. I am pleased to be part of LaBoucan and this opportunity to share. And I want to give all I can to pass on. And that when I'm gone, the culture keeps alive, the people know about our history and know not only where we come from, have a sense of direction as to where we need to go as a people.
Well, folks, this is Urias Peters, the Artistic Director of the LaBoucan Creative Center. As we celebrate our 45th anniversary of independence, it also reminds me that it's been almost 33 years since my return to Grenada from studies at the Jamaica School of Drama, now known as the Edna Manley College for the Performing Arts. And I feel a sense of urgency with regards to using the arts to teach our history, to pass on the culture, which defines who we are as Grenadian people. And we have been hard at practice over the past three and a half weeks to put on a production in commemoration of our 45th anniversary of independence. We'll be doing a play. In fact, the first play that I did when I came back from Jamaica, from studies in Jamaica in 1986, is a play called Mayhem in Paradise. We'll be doing the short version of that play, and we'll be featuring some of our young theatre arts students who are here doing a theatre arts course at LaBoucan. So we'll be seeing some new faces on stage. And also that we'll be taking a trip down memory lane. It's a musical treat. Well, my girlfriend, my wife, Anne, as we all know her, Anne is a long time we haven't seen. I told her it's a long time we have not seen her, heard her voice. So Anne, together with Cecil, Ronnie, and the Tivoli drummers, we will be on stage to give you a treat for the second half. So we are asking everybody to come out on February the 6th at the Spice Basket, 8 p.m. for a real cultural treat. Ask you to continue to support the arts, continue to support drama, continue to support music, continue to support culture, continue to support Grenada, and we look forward with great expectations to give you this and many more productions. As a matter of fact, in March 9th, we'll be doing a repeat of The Redemption Time, which is the play on the Grenada Revolution, and looks at the turbulent period of the 70s, also heads into the American invasion. It's 40 years this year since the Grenada Revolution. What have we learned? Have we really recorded the history in its rightful perspective? We ask you to come out at Spice Basket on March the 9th. But for this time, February 6th, at Spice Basket for Mayhem and a trip down memory lane. 8 o'clock.
I knew you guys would like that. I knew you would like that. I knew it. See what I spent my Saturday afternoon doing? Hey, that's part of it. There's another part to come. You're looking for some really exquisite pictures. You're going to see them in just a minute. While you were listening to that, some of you took the time to post some stuff here on Facebook. Ronnie Slinger, I beg your pardon, is agreeing with Anne. I'm not sure exactly which of the things he's agreeing about, because she said a mouthful, eh? But he says true. Anthony Rollo says, Anne is so right. I met a woman in St. Croix who used the word transport in a question. And when I asked if she was from Grenada, she smiled and said, yeah. Yep. Margaret Francis says, speak it, Anne. I knew that would rattle you a little bit, Margaret. I knew you would get, I'd get some reaction from you. Ernesto Jose says, stop teaching the Columbus lies in our school and teach Grenadian history. Where have I heard that before? Several times. Several times I've heard that before. Grenada Sunshine says, on point, Miss Peters. Boy, I hope Anne and Francis are watching this piece this morning. Rafael Joseph says, very pleasing. A lot of people agree with the lady and the rest of the guys. Grenada Sunshine comes back and says, our culture is eroding. Thank you guys for salvaging it. Continue the great works. Happy Independence. Yeah. Ernesto Jose says, I'm enjoying you, Anne, man. Speak, Grenadian girl. I go, listen. Yeah. He goes on to say, all the shows in Grenada, when we are in New York, we'll get a taste of Grenada in New York. Huh? All the shows is in Grenada. When we are in New York, we'll get a taste of Grenada in New York, Mr. Peters. And finally, Anthea Rello says, thank you, George. Anthea, it has been my pleasure, girl. Anytime, anytime, anytime. Folks, one more little piece that I have for you. This one's a quickie. Yesterday afternoon, went down to the yacht club. As I mentioned, the 50th anniversary of the Billfish tournament officially gets underway tomorrow evening with the registration of the yachts. As you're about to hear, as of yesterday afternoon, they had 54 yachts registered. And while you guys were listening to Anne, I actually went out there on the balcony and watched some of these yachts coming into town. Yeah, they're still coming in, and the tournament gets started tomorrow. So I went down yesterday and took a look around, more pictures than anything, and video. And I also had a brief chat with a gentleman by the name of Nicholas George, who is with the title sponsor, Budget Marine. When we get back, we are going to check that out. Okie dokie, folks. Let's check out Nicholas George as he explained to us what's going to take place over the upcoming week. It was quite a sight. Check it out.
Well, the boats have started coming in actually since yesterday. We had a nice influx today with a few boats arriving. Registration is on Monday morning, starting at 10, so we expect much more boats to arrive tomorrow as well. It's just everybody getting in and preparing and meeting old friends and having a few drinks before they need to concentrate a little bit too much. Based on the pre-registration so far, we have 54. I think it's more than that. 54. Registration is on Monday. Then we have the skipper's briefing, which is going to be on Monday night. We're going to have a nice short day of fishing on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, it's going to be the Bimini start. Full day fishing Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday night, we're going to have some pretty nice activities at the yacht club. We're going to have a fun night sponsored by a fun day. That's the chairman of the board for the Ansa McCall group of companies. He's contributed that towards the 50th anniversary. And on Friday and Saturday, we're going to have fishing, and Saturday night, we're going to have the grand prize giving at the Tantine playing field.
So you've been here.
We've had memorable moments. We've had close calls. You know, fish coming
Let's talk about both.
Fish coming to scale that almost made it in terms of breaking the minimum weight to bring to scale, but obviously that was just an error in terms of judgment. We've had quite a few grand slams in the last, I would say, 8 to 9 years. That's catching all the species of billfish in one day. And we've just had some really good memorable moments over the last few years that we'll be talking about for years to come. I think we're there. Based on, we follow IGFA rules. You know, any fish brought to scale has to be equal or above the tournament record. So in order for you to bring a fish to scale, you have to be certain that you can actually break the tournament record with that fish. So that encourages you to really concentrate on catching the fish, estimating on its weight, getting it back in the water if it's lower. And that in itself is really pushing conservation to the point where some tournaments go by and no fish is brought to scale.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. He says, great video, very clear. Ernesto, would you believe, I'm not trying to promote Samsung here, but I shot that with my Samsung A8, I think it is. Got that, I think December was a year since I got that device. Pretty good pictures. And I'm not ashamed to say I also have a couple of iPhones. And the video off the iPhones is nowhere nearly as crisp as off the Samsung. Well, 4 minutes away from the hour, folks. Just about time to pull the curtain down. One final break. Don't go away. Don't run away, because we have something very important for you. Hang in there.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Spice Island.
Renlick, energizing our Grenada.
Ernesto, would you believe that was shot 720? It was not 4K. The iPhones are capable of 4K, but this particular device was not. I think it goes up to 1080. And I do intend to be shooting a lot of stuff in 4K, but obviously, you know, to get it up on Facebook, you have to bring it down to 720. We'll talk about that some other time. Pilgrims, here we go. And you know, this particular reading here is for those people who, every time they give a needy organization penny halfpenny, they have to put out a press release, man. I did this, I did that, I gave. It would be wise of them to listen to this reading. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. Short and sweet. Matthew chapter 6, verse 2. On that note, my dear friends, time for Georgie Porgy to go feed his face on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. Ernesto says, have a productive week and keep the videos coming. Much love. Folks, thank you so much. Join me tomorrow morning for our next edition of Good Day Grenada, and I'm also going to try to show you some more video. Hopefully, I won't be able to get down to watch the parade for the start of the Billfish tournament, but I should be able to get some video from up here on Willits Road. George Grant sending God's blessings your way, and by his grace, I shall see thee again tomorrow.